What's up, guys? It's me, Boxing, and I just finished up watching Daniel Dubois versus Joyce, which is a 12-rounder for the WBC Silver Heavyweight Championship. And this fight was Saturday, November 28th, from the Church House in Westminster, London, England. And this fight was broadcasted on ESPN Plus in the United States and BT Sport abroad. And first of all, let me just say this: I predicted the fight 100% correctly. I predicted how it would play out. I predicted a 10th round stoppage win for Joyce. That's exactly what happened. And I predicted how it would play out, where that Joyce would break down Daniel Dubois throughout the whole fight and then ultimately get a late stoppage. Joyce now improving to 12-0 with 11 KOs. Daniel Dubois 15-1 with 14 knockouts. But first of all, Daniel Dubois, although this is a major step back for him, I do not think his career is over because he's only 23, and most fighters go till they're maybe 38, 39 years old. He still has a good 14, 15 years in him if he fights past his prime. But his prime is definitely right now, probably, and I think he's got to get a good comeback fight versus a sort of stiff fighter. Then he's got to come back versus maybe a Brian Jennings level, Gerald Washington level fighter, somewhere around there, Trevor Bryan level. But now Joyce getting this excellent victory. He's going to get highly ranked in the WBC and the WBO after picking up the WBO International and WBC Silver title. The Silver title basically means you're sort of the mandatory after that interim champion, which Povetkin is. I believe he will get ranked to number 1 maybe, or number 2. I think number 2, yeah, because Povetkin will be ranked number 1 because he's the interim. But Deontay Wilder, I believe, is still ranked number 2 in WBC, but I think he should be swapped for Joyce. He's also ranked in the top 10, I believe so. But because winning the silver title, he'll get ranked even higher. But the WBO International title, everyone else was predicting Daniel Dubois to win. I only saw a couple of people say Joyce would win, but it would be by earlier knockout. But this fight sort of reminded me of Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. Joyce, throughout the whole fight, was keeping Daniel Dubois at bay, trying to pressure him, then land the jab. Although Joyce, I think, besides power punches, he might have landed hundreds of jabs throughout that whole fight. I mean, his jabs were relentless and powerful and speedy. I know Joyce is not a speedy guy, but his jabs were excellent tonight. Daniel Dubois, he did catch Joyce with here's the thing here. Daniel Dubois threw his full power at Joyce and nothing happened to him. Joyce wasn't hurt in that whole fight. Nothing happened. If you're wondering what I scored a 5-4 in favor of Daniel Dubois. I know if you look at their faces after the fight, Joyce didn't even have a scratch on his face. Daniel Dubois, obviously the bloody nose, the swollen eye shut. But it was a very close fight nonetheless. But in those rounds that Joyce, I gotta say this, Joyce was jabbing the whole fight. He only landed maybe 20 power punches. Those are shots besides jabs. He landed hundreds of jabs in this fight, 100%. But he landed barely any right hands to Daniel Dubois. That jab was all he needed. As in the 10th round, Dubois was just wearing down. He was so tired. Joyce wasn't even breaking a sweat. And he landed that one jab. Dubois grabbed his eye with the glove, went to the canvas, and got counted out. Excellent win for Joyce, this is. Now he's ranked number 10 by BoxRec, going past Kubrat Pulev, who is now set to take on Anthony Joshua in about 2 weeks. And what's next for Joyce after getting this tremendous victory? I think he will be fighting for the vacant WBO title. Since winning this international WBO title from Daniel Dubois, he'll get ranked in the top 5, if not top 2, top 3, around there. And he'll get highly ranked in the WBC as well. Daniel Dubois, I do think he'll get taken out of all his spots in the rankings. And another thing is that Joyce could possibly take on Trevor Bryan for an interim WBA title fight. That's also a possibility, because he was the former gold champion, even though he vacantized that own title. Now he's getting more opportunity, but I believe the WBA would put him back in those rankings highly because of this tremendous win. And I believe he'll be ranked in all sanctioning bodies, but the most particular one is the WBO, as that mandatory is currently Alexander Usyk, and now that Joshua is taking on the IBF mandatory and Kubrat Pulev on December 12th, that WBO title will ultimately get stripped, and I think it will be either Joseph Parker, who's right now fighting, I believe, Junior Fawn on December 10th, I believe so, or the 12th, somewhere around there, early December, and I do think he gets the job done there, getting a knockout. But then it will either be Parker versus Usyk for the vacant WBO, or Joyce versus Usyk for the vacant WBO. But here's the thing, Joyce already got outboxed by Usyk in the amateurs, but that was years ago. back when Joyce was in his 20s. Now he's 35, he's more mature, and he's gotten some great wins on his resume at heavyweight. But Alexander Usyk, he's only been in with one decent heavyweight in Derek Chisora, and Derek Chisora put on a decent fight against him. But what's next for Daniel Dubois? I think he should, as I said before, coming back against a lower tier guy. Then he should possibly step up, as I said before, against like a Bryant Jennings level. But he should beat a guy around there. As I gotta say, he's not counted out in this division. He could still beat guys who are in the top 15, top 20. That eye is the only problem he had. His defense he needs to work on because he was just getting hit with the jab the whole fight, and his eye could go closed shut if he fights anybody with a good jab. Fury would pick him apart with his jab. Joshua would. I mean, all those guys. He's just got to get better defense, and he'll be the whole package. But Joe Joyce ultimately getting an excellent KO victory in the 10th round, getting an upset. I know it was very close. I believe it was 3-1. There was a minus 300 favorite. Was Daniel Dubois. And Joe Joyce did say, I'm the older fighter, but I'm going to beat you. And he's the older man, and he beat the younger hype train. And I'm not saying this. Dubois is still not a bad fighter, as I said before. He's still very good for his age. And I do think his prime will possibly be maybe when he's in his late 20s. Because remember, he's only a kid, 23 years old. And he's still a very good fighter. I mean, props to him for getting in the ring with such a tough opponent after fighting nobody. Really, Joe Joyce, excellent win for him. Improving to 12-0 with 11 wins coming by way of knockout, likely fighting for the vacant WBO heavyweight title in his next fight. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.